Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back again on another edition of your morning program. How are you doing? For me, I'm okay. And I'm with Julde Njai. Julde, good morning.
Good morning, Ibrahim.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Nice.
I'm okay, alhamdulillah. Good
Nice,
morning
nice.
to you. Good morning to Sid and to our viewers.
Yeah, so it's good to be back here, and we have Seth Mati Jau as our newspaper review guest. Mr. Jau, you're welcome.
Good morning, Balde. Good morning, Julde. It's always a pleasure to be here. Yes.
It's good to have you. How have you been? How are the activities? What's going on?
Been good. Last week I was in Germany, in Frankfurt, where we attended a conference on the Peace Research Institute annual conference to discuss about transitional justice, but memory of the past, and all the issues around colonialism. It has been good. Since then, things have been good.
Exactly. So today on the program, we'll take a look at the newspaper review, the African Code, and we'll also be doing our legal segment later. We'll be talking to legal practitioner Barrow, and the topic that we'll be discussing would be rights of accused persons, and it will be very important for us to deal with it. And of course, so Julda, what we do today, we'll head straight to the newspaper review. You have some of the papers with you?
Yes, we have the Standard, Foroya and Point. And on the Foroya newspaper, you have Justice Jaite urges government to address staffing shortage at prisons. It seems like there is shortage of staff at prisons.
The Gambia prisons.
Yeah, there's a possibility of that, and I also think that is affecting also the way that prisoners have been, those that are remanded, have been taken to court. So I think it's always good to hear from the courts to to advocate to a certain extent to push for some of the services to be available. And of course, I think we've heard about people leaving, trying to move from prison to other services as well. So that kind of affect that. But the prison seems to be one institution that has also been neglected in terms of what is the remuneration for people, how are we attracting more people to be part of that is also kind of a challenge. And so with that, it is affecting the delivery of services when it comes to justice. And so government needs to look into that.
Interestingly, Luke Jatta, the public relation officer of the prisons, I was here, I think on Monday. According to Luke, they are looking forward to building a new prison in the Gambia. So I think the logistics are all on the way, and they are putting things at the right direction so that we have new prisons. And we were quick to ask him, okay, what about the old prison, that's Mile 2? What are we going to do with it? He said Mile 2 would be shut down, because it's not fit for purpose, according to...
Yeah, I spent some time there. I mean, it's a terrible place. It's a terrible place, and I think based on the kind of direction that the country want to go to in terms of security sector reform, which is to focus more on correctional services, then I don't think the current prison system is conducive for that. And so having a new prison which has also some other elements that include maybe training facilities, so that those that are incarcerated could also learn skills, and then when they come out, that could be helpful for them. But currently, as the Mile 2 is, definitely everyone knows it is, it's not meant for people to stay there because the conditions are terrible. And it doesn't matter what government is there. It has been there historically, and it has been the same. And so until we move away from that, I think the situation will continue as it is.
Exactly. I think it's supposed to be a rehabilitation center.
Our prison, the kind of system we have here is like punishment. Like you do something, you got jail, and then so the idea is like we have to punish you. But then prison systems generally now, I think the thinking is to move it from that kind of thinking to a correctional facility where people will be corrected, but not only corrected. If you are young, juvenile, you have access to training, you have access to skills
Right.
that will deter you from doing. Because one of the things that we also notice in this country is that the repetition, those that commit crimes and repeatedly, also there. So what happens to those is the fact that the prison has not been able to deter them from coming back.
Exactly.
So those are elements that needs to be thought of. It's going to be costly, but it's good thinking about the future as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's needed. So moving forward, we still have very interesting headlines on the Foroyaa newspaper, and we have Auditor General flags understatement of over $46 million in querying revenue. Wow.
Yeah, I think the audit reports 2021, 2020,
22,
and 2023, I think it has been making wave. And I think the fact that it has been presented before the National Assembly, that is also a good thing, that people can continue to discuss.
Right.
Because, of course, government is established to deliver services, spend money on behalf of the people, but then the Office of the Auditor General is given that power to see whether it has been done in line or with due process of the law and all those things. And so the revelations that they are revealing based on the audit report, I think should be taken seriously by both the executive and also the National Assembly to ensure is not only about who did what, but also to ensure the institution or the processes that facilitated such issues could be addressed either in our financial mechanisms or through other mechanisms. But
That's right.
the good thing is, like, we are receiving audit reports and we are debating on the issues. And I think that's a good, it's showing the issues of accountability and governance advancing.
Right.
But those things need to be addressed.
It needs to be, of course. And there is also one thing to have the audit report and people to know that there are corruption allegations here and there. But it's another to thoroughly investigate it and ensure that those that are responsible are held accountable. I think it's the only way we can actually minimize corruption.
Yeah, definitely. So the auditors do their audits, and then the next steps are supposed to be taken by the decision makers.
Yes.
The National Assembly, government. They can look at it and say, okay, we need to do further investigation and bring people that are responsible for that. But of course, in the past, we've seen also, sometimes people feel, and this is where the disconnect between the trust in the political leadership and the citizens are, where audits will come up, and then the way it is treated just like another opinion piece, instead of just, what it is, a pointer to show that there might have been some malpractice. It might be not entirely malpractice, but there are certain things that are missing, so that require further investigation. And when those investigations are done, if people are to be taken to court, let them be. Let them follow the due process of the law. And I think that's what the expectation of the citizens.
Right. And the issue of the issue that you mentioned is the issue of opinion pieces. And of recent, we've seen a lot of publications from your own organization, and Gambia Participates, and other civil society organizations in the Gambia, having surveys, opinion polls on what people think about corruption, what people think about the security and all that. It's like, oftentimes we've seen, especially those in central government, trying to discredit that. How do you go about conducting your surveys, opinion polls and all that?
Yeah, so for us, surveys are like scientific processes. It's just like you journalists going out and doing vox pop, asking people what their opinions are, and basically that's what we want to do. We want to ensure that government, the public, especially for us, that this gap that exists between the governed and the governors are kind of bridged. And how do you bridge that? Is for the governors to understand what the governors are thinking, or what their priorities are, what they want. And so based on that, we go out, we meet the people, but done in a scientific way in terms of the sampling process. And for me, usually I say sample in a layman's term is just to test whether the tea is sugary, or it has sugar enough, in a nutshell. So at some point when we come out, what we state is basically what the people say. So like you interview me and I express myself, I recorded that, and then I come out and say the people say this, and then you say no, the people did not say that. I mean, at least I went to the people, so you have to go to the people at least so that we'll be able to be compared. So that's why sometimes, you know, even when government reacts, or which is also their opinion, for me, I always welcome that, because at least what you do, you want somebody to react to it. And if they react positively or negatively, it doesn't matter to me. It is their reaction, so it is as opinion, it is fine as well, because even the questionnaire, some will agree, some will disagree, so you have those kind of stuff. And then so we just point it in that way, and so it should be taken as some sort of a pointer that these are the signs, or this is what people are saying, rather not like a conclusive, you know, that the whole world is going to end kind of thing. So sometimes, yeah, so for me, opinion polling is just that. It's just to show the way forward.
So let's take a look at Tombong. Forming a new party is a right, not betrayal. I mean, since Talib formed his movement, we've seen a lot of shots, I mean, directed at him, and a lot of resignation. Many people joined his movement, and you know, there's been a lot of noise, said Mati.
Yeah, I mean, that's the political season. We're in the political season, but I agree with Tombong to a certain extent. But it's also in terms of the because every citizen have the right to be the freedom of association. I mean, you can join any party you want. You can leave any political party you want. You can form your own. The people that belong to that political party might see your leaving as a betrayal, but in a natural sense, it's not a betrayal. It's you exercising your right to movement, to association, and one can be anywhere. And of course, part of the debate is, okay, you know, you're betraying the party instead of, you know, being in line. I even saw a song called Jamfa or something.
Yes, it's
you know,
making rounds on social
so
media.
it's also the way that politicians or political parties, to a certain extent, kind of create this, like you have to be in line, like membership, you have to be in line. So even people that might want to leave might be afraid that they might be tagged with such kind of negative connotation. But the reality in politics is like, you know, especially in a democratic setting, everyone has the right to form their own parties. If not, you can join any political party, and you know, you have the franchise, the right to elect and to be elected. And so it shouldn't get to that kind of discussion.
Personalities.
Yeah, personalities, and you know.
It tells us a lot about, you know, how our political landscape is in the Gambia, for the fact that it's politics of personality rather than ideologies and, you know, policies. So I mean,
yeah, it's that, but also the culture. I mean, the expectation that one has to be like in political science, one would say that the only thing that is constant is change.
yes.
But within the Gambian political context, if you even want to change, then that's problematic for a lot of people. They say, oh, why do you change? Why do you that? But I mean, people must grow, evolution. You might agree with Balde today, tomorrow we disagree on some other issues. I mean, but sometimes like people must also have core conviction in terms of what they believe in.
Right.
But like you said, the culture is not about having like, oh, I'm a socialist or I'm a leftist or right-wing activist. Here is like who is more popular to a certain extent. And that individual is also kind of problematized what they do, who join, what they don't, where they belong to. It's kind of interesting, but it's a lot of waste of time, if you ask me.
And I've also noticed a worrying trend, that is the issue of tribalism resurfacing all over again.
In our politics.
Exactly. You have some people who are going online saying that, okay, the reason why Talib is being attacked, the way these people are attacking him is because he's different from them. Other people resigned from the party, and they did not receive these kinds of, you know, threats, insults and assaults. So I mean, the issue of tribalism all over again, Sid Mati.
I can just add on that.
Yeah.
I think the shots that Talib received, it's more than the shots that Modu Sabali received when he moved from UDP
That's
to NPP.
the argument people are making.
Yeah, I mean, people will, I mean, there is this, some Gambian scholars that wrote that what we are experiencing in Gambia is what they call accusatory tribalism.
Yeah.
that people will always accuse each other of, oh, you're being tribalist, you're this, you know, playing that ethnic politics. But in natural sense, it is not. It's not actually tribalism to the core. But what we are also seeing is, for me, I see it like politics, and maybe the individual also matters, and based on what they have said over the period is also leading to that. But of course, this conversation is there that politics in Gambia is turning more towards ethnic, you know, the tribal line, and that is scary for many. But for me personally, I don't want to believe in that, because that is also accepting or supporting this whole, those entrepreneurs that want to push this particular agenda, that everything is about tribe, is about ethnicity. Sometimes it's just about, you know, disappointment in what maybe what Talib did compared to Sabally. Because Talib went to run for the UDP president, I mean candidate, compared to Sabally, who had no interest in that. So maybe people will look at that, or you are betraying the Honorable Dabo, you are doing that. And yes, some will accuse him of tribalism. His own supporters will accuse others of also being pushed out of tribalism. So for me, I see it more from that accusatory element than, you know, a real justification that this perhaps might be the case.
So what I mean, tribally, you know, there are even parties that, you know, in the Gambia, they are associated with certain tribes. I mean, no need to mention the parties, but when you mention the parties, the mental picture that you have is, it belongs to this group, it belongs to that group. So what are we going to do to remove that idea?
But the reality is that no political party can be set up. It's either in one, based on our laws, that you cannot set up a political party based on a particular group, particular religion, or particular whatever. So people might have that perception or that perspective in terms of the outlook of that political party, but in reality, I don't think that any political party in this country is established on tribal lines. Because also, anyone that thinks one particular tribe can win an election, you're also misleading yourself. Because Gambia is a multicultural, diverse society that one always need to push that multiculturalism agenda, talk about coexistence, peacefulness, with that. Because of course, if you look at all these different ethnic groups outside politics, intermarriages are happening, there are things that are bigger. You see Mandinka marrying, Fula, Wolof, you know, all those different mix are there. And today to see like a whole pure one ethnic family is very rare in Gambia because of the multi-ethnic marriages that one can see. And so that is not tribalism yet, you know. But within the politics, we say tribal politics is when an individual or candidate receives more support from their particular ethnic group. So to a certain extent, one can see that playing, but then for me, at this stage still, it is still accusatory, and politicians trying to exploit it. If you vote for this one, we will send you away. You know, like that's not true. That can never happen. And people need to be aware of those, and can join any political party they want based on. And the problem, like you raised, if there was some sort of ideological orientation, whether you believe in socialism, more government intervention or less government intervention, then people could be easily divided. But now you have, I mean, individuals, and people rally around individuals.
It's unfortunate. So how do we then move away from that politics of personalities to politics of ideologies? How do we go about that? Because I think it's high time that we move. You know, the world is moving and we're still talking about, okay, kilila, kilalela. It doesn't make sense. You
know, like politics is also very new. It's like there are people that have been voting since, and the culture then is to be pragmatic, you know, to be more pragmatic in terms of winning elections. And also you have the population, you know, sometimes these ideologies come in more highly kind of educated societies. But our society, I mean, they might know exactly what they want, but not necessarily linking it to certain ideologies and all that. And I think the way to move away from that is through political parties, because political parties are supposed to be the institution that teaches and convince, mobilize. So they have a very important role to play in terms of educating their members, in terms of what their ideas are supposed to be. But outside that, there must be that greater civic education for people to start looking at parties beyond individuals, but more of an institution. So it requires education, but the social structures that we have currently with the less educated, and even sometimes the educated are like, you know, sometimes we think like they are more aware, but they are the less aware compared to the everyday Gambian. So there are a lot of those problems that we need to address as society. But I think with time it will come. But for now, you know, it has to be the Pusante and the Bomahante.
So the former Gambian soldier, Abdoulaye Sanyang, pleads not guilty in court. In other countries, they will take him through some medical checkup to see whether definitely he is okay before any other action.
Maybe Gambia should do that as well. But I mean, he was brave to say certain things. I think he should be able to justify that in court. And I think the case is before the court. So yeah, mental checkup and all that. For someone that went to a TV and radio, I would assume that they are okay. I will assume that they are okay.
Well, you know, in Gambia here, sometimes we don't censor the people that we invite. Even the media houses, we don't select the people that we invite, their mental state. We just bring them because a person has something to say, you know?
Oh, yeah, yes, you do. I mean, like, you do your job. You invite the person. If the person is not okay, they can tell that they are not okay. I mean, like for this one, I don't really know. I think there needs to be that mental support, but I think that's now, since it is before the court, I think they should be able to look at that.
Yeah, it's a sensitive
but sometimes it's like hyperactivity, like just wanting to say certain things, maybe can put people into trouble. But he claims he knows certain things. So
should we take those certain things as a threat to the Gambia?
Of course. I mean, if you talk about arson, if you talk about certain, you know, those different issues, like a state should be suspicious. It's not like, okay, everybody's saying things, you know, but you have to be suspicious as well.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what is important is the state, the survival of the state. And the state is not about the president or anybody, it's all of us. And so when you say certain things to a certain extent, I mean, they need to be suspicious of that. And the events that he talked about happen. I mean, at least we have seen some of the cases that what they did. So, I mean, for me, definitely, if you commit a crime, you should be able to answer the crime. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Right. So, moving on to the Point newspaper, you have George urges Interior Minister IGP to act over remand prisoners' court delays.
Yeah, I think this is one we talked about earlier with Foray as well being covered. Yeah, so there needs to be more investment, more transportation, more logistical support.
For delays,
for the prisons. And this, when you're talking about this, is talk about cars, the availability of vehicles to be able to transport prisoners. Because, of course, you know, I spent some time at remand. I see some people before. It used to take them a long time before they go before a court. And so if that is happening, like you can be there like a whole month, you're not going to court. So if you have that opportunity to go to court, I think they should be facilitated. And it's a dual responsibility on both the judiciary and the executive to ensure that people that are accused, that are at remand, are presented before the court so that their time would not be wasted. And so for me, I think it's a good investment, it's a good call that the judge is also encouraging the government to look into.
Sometimes the time you spend in remand, even if you were sentenced, probably you would have received a lesser sentence than that. Imagine spending 5 years and your crime was just one year or 6 months sentence.
And you know, that has been one of the, I'm not sure whether that is the situation still now But at some point, it has been the case. And I think part of the reform is to address that, to ensure that, you know, cases are handled as quickly as possible. You know, because otherwise, if the judge is not as lenient to say, okay, the time that you spend at remand, you know, should count as part of the sentence, then
I honestly
like
think
there
it
is,
should count.
yeah,
It should
yeah, some
count.
count.
Imagine spending
yeah.
5 years, and now they tell you you're spending another 5 years.
Yeah, you're still waiting and your case is still going. But I mean, we need to invest in the judiciary. For me, there are areas where we need real investment. People will look at it as waste of money, but all of us can be in conflict with the law, and all of us will want our time, you know, to be taken properly. And so, it's an investment. It's like investing in healthcare, investing in education.
You never know until when you are in the situation.
But you need that. You need that kind of investment to be there so that things can happen fast, things can go in line, and that's where the investment in governance should you know, should be focused on educating the people, but ensuring that the judiciary, you know, has also enough resources, but not only the judiciary, but the security, because the security, police and prison to a certain extent are also connected.
Right.
And so those things are critical for me.
So moving on, you have the Chinese embassy launches first visa service in Gambia. That's good news
nice.
for Gambians.
Yes, it's good news, especially for the business community, but generally for Gambians as well, because I think now we have only very few embassies that give visas from here. Everything else you have to go to Dakar or somewhere. And I think China coming with this is also going to strengthen the bilateral relationship between China and Gambia. And recently we have seen that growing to a certain extent. We have seen a number of people that have been going to China from, you know, all sectors of life, from market vendors, artists, civil society, media, government. So there is that, you know, bilateral, expansion of this bilateral partnership, people-to-people exchange, and I think that's a good, because Gambians are also looking towards China to do business. This should be good for the community, for the people. Yeah.
And hopefully Gambians should also learn from China, you know, to tap from their expertise, to tap from, you know, development and everything. You know, we should also be able to benefit.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the government. I think this is a great opportunity for them to actually explore more opportunities with China, hence their doors are open. Yeah,
especially capacity building, you know, but not just to learn things and stop there, but how do you build a society from your own cultural experience, and I think I've been to China, and I think to attend the think tank forum, and I think that was interesting for me, you know, learning about Chinese modernization, because sometimes we talk about development or modernization, and people here will think like modernization has to be a westernization. But it's not necessarily the case. You can modernize your society, build it based on your own cultural values, based on your own realities as a country, and then from there. So I definitely think this partnership could really, you know, bring a lot about South-to-South cooperation, where we can learn from people that have similar experience with us. Only challenge maybe is the distance and the language for now, but I think those are things that they need to invest.
There are a lot of things that we can learn from China. I mean, considering where they are from, the days of Chairman Mao, up to date. But it takes discipline for you to be able to,
of course,
get those, I mean, ideas and implement them in your own country. I don't think we seem to have discipline in other areas, that, Mr.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a big challenge. That's a big challenge. But also, it's not only about discipline; it's having that vision. Like the idea of removing people from poverty. I mean, so some of these things, governance is very simple to a certain extent. It's just like the numbers that you need to look at and see how to address that. There are a lot of social values that we have that could be coded and integrated into our own processes, but it's not. So sometimes where the problem is, we want to copy and just paste without naturally, you know, looking at the context, whether it works or doesn't work. And I think for me, like, we can learn about the steps that they have taken, but we need to generate our own realities. Based on our own realities, from there we develop, and not just to, I don't like copy and pasting.
Copy and pasting. And we're
I
very
like
good at copy
locally
and paste.
grown solution to some of our problems.
Because you might copy and
that
paste.
is what China adopted, actually.
Oh, yes,
Their
yes.
own
You can see idea, but say, okay, how does it work within the China context and all that stuff?
You might copy and paste while the norms are different.
yes.
Sometimes it doesn't fit.
Right.
So I don't know what those Sergeant Jang mean by admitting cannibalizing government vehicles.
I've not been following the select committee on So I don't even know what cannibalizing it, because when I saw that headline, I was like, somebody
to
eating
cannibalize something. I mean,
I have no idea.
maybe abusing it, maybe using them anyhow, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Well, of course, cannibal. But if it is from the cannibal, it's like eating some. Of course. Or vehicles eating each other.
Or maybe selling the vehicle and eating it. Cannibalizing.
Maybe.
It should be simplified down.
If they are cannibalizing the vehicles, they should not, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital fails to meet reform deadline to establish internal audit manual.
Well, internal audits are very important for any institution, given especially the recent incident that happened at Edward Francis Small. I think they were audited, and there was also part of the, so the report came out as well. So I think those are part of the recommendations that they need to do. Sometimes you miss a deadline, maybe there's capacity issue, resource-wise and all that. But I think it is something that they need to take seriously, to see that they have those internal mechanisms that can help and even protects the institution itself from making procurements that might be not in line with the established financial manuals. So hopefully they should be able to look into that and take it seriously as well.
Exactly.
Do we have any more stories?
So there is a headline on the paper on Standard about Transport Union.
Oh yes, Transport Union demands.
I'll report you to CISE.
And he actually said
our
this.
boss.
So Transport Union demands retaliatory policy against foreign vehicles.
I don't understand what they mean by
retaliatory.
Yes, I think one of the challenges that they have been talking about is the transit. You know, there are vehicles that pick goods here, transit them and all that, and they may suffer because that has also traditionally been part of that, been part of the challenges that Gambian vehicles traveling across the sub-region complain about. Some will say it is like a problem within West Africa. The same thing Gambian vehicles face here is the same thing Senegalese vehicles face in Gambia or otherwise. But if the idea is about the re-export trade, the transportation system, I think governments within West Africa need to take this free movement of goods and services, more seriously, because of course it's the earning capacity for some people that are into business, and I'm happy that the Transport Union is basically raising some of this concern, because it's only true when you're organized and strongly organized that sometimes your voice becomes. Your voice matters, and I think for them that is that case. But the sub-regional corridor needs to be really looked into by the government.
There is also another claim that now Gambian vehicles are not allowed to get into Senegal, commercial vehicle. When you take people passengers from here, you take them to the border and they will take Senegalese vehicle straight to Senegal. So Gambia too is trying to do the same thing.
So because that has been here for some time now. I mean, because even Senegalese vehicle, when they come in like from Dakar, they stop at where? At Karang, and then so you have to walk the rest to get into the border, and then get a Gambian vehicle to. Before you used to take vehicles from Bara, and it takes you all the way to Kaula. So I think some of these things also require some sort of negotiation between the union.
Yes.
Senegal has a very strong transport union, and Gambia likewise. If you want to compete within that, you have to build a very strong transport union so that you can also negotiate and then push your government, lobby your government to make certain policies and certain decisions that favors you. And for me, I believe that the transport union should be advocating for those. If it's reciprocal that Gambians stop in Senegal, for me that is not an issue.
Right.
But I think the main issue is the transport, the re-export trade,
Right.
especially Gambian vehicles that take goods to the sub-region. So those are also issues of concern.
Yeah. So I think we've exhausted this time already.
Right.
And or do you have any interesting headline?
No, we definitely invite Omar Sise to discuss
yes.
more on this because he sent a release
Oh,
about
okay.
because they have a couple of resolutions as far as their town hall meeting is concerned. So it would be interesting to know what are some of the resolutions.
Yeah. I mean, I've been following the transport union. I've been liking. I like the way that they're working and what they're trying to do, and I think that's the way it should be. Because they're a union, but they're also part of us as part of civil society. And so I like the way that they continue to do their work. I think every trade needs to be as organized as the transport union, because if trades are not organized, I mean, to negotiate will become difficult. And this is why we need the Gambia Workers Union. This is why we need all these different unions so that they'll be able to advance their members' interests. And so I'm happy to see what they're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Said Mati, for reviewing these papers with us. And, you know, we'll engage you again. I'm time now, right?
No, yes, last week I traveled, but if I'm not, I'm always available.
Yes, I know that.
I'll be available.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
So
Sir.
we'll be right back after this break.
Opticalia, Gambia's leader in optical care with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126. Brikama 7767-123. Farafenni 7767-124. Basse 7767-125. Opticalia. Love what you see and hear.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your QMoney wallet. Just open the QMoney app or dial *323#, select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with QMoney's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Senior Carpet. Terms and conditions apply.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from...
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to the legal segment of this program, You and the Law. And legal practitioner Barrow would take us through. And the topic that we'll be discussing is rights of the accused person as far as the law of the Gambia is concerned. Mr. Barrow, it's good to have you here.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
You are welcome. It's important for us to discuss this. As you know, many people in the Gambia don't know their rights. Some of them, I don't know, for some reason, they don't understand what the Constitution says on certain things, because there are instances where you see people doing certain things or people accepting certain things without knowing, okay, they have rights to refuse or rights to demand for these things. So it's important that we are discussing this, the rights of accused person. Can you please take us through what are the rights of an accused person?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Balde and Julde. It's a pleasure to be here. Rights are very important. I mean, rights are basically entitlements that every human being has by virtue of being a human, a human being. In other words, these are entitlements or basic necessities that we all need. And they are categorized mainly. You have economic, social, and cultural rights. You also have collective rights. You also have civil rights, which will form the basis of our discussion here today. So accused persons have various rights that have been guaranteed in the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. But not only that, I mean, these rights have also been guaranteed by a number of regional and international human rights instruments, of course, including the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, also called the Banjul Charter, and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Yeah. So, but before we talk about rights of accused persons, it's also important to, before becoming an accused person, you have rights as a suspect. So, as a suspect, you have rights that have been guaranteed by the Criminal Procedure Act of the Gambia 2025. And some of these rights, of course, include right to be informed of the reason for arrest. Let's say if the police arrest you, you have a right. In other words, the police have an obligation to inform you the reason or reasons for arresting you. And according to the Constitution, this must be done within 3 hours of your arrest. And I think this is very important. Yeah. Yes. In addition to that very important right, you also have, a right to remain silent. In other words, the police do not have any, cannot, compel any suspect or any suspect to make a statement or to give a statement. Yeah. From my experience, I'm not sure whether many people are aware of this, and this is really important because this is before you have been charged with any offense. Yeah. Thirdly, this right is also very important, and a suspect has a right to actually consult a lawyer, and he must be informed of this right. Yes. So the detaining authority has an obligation to inform a suspect that he has a right to consult a lawyer. Yes.
So, I mean, we've seen the accused, persons would be sent to the police station and, you know, they'll just open a book and tell you, come, we take your statement.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes, so I've not seen a situation where a police arrests a person and tell the person you have the right to remain silent because anything said here can be used against you in the court of law. I have not seen it in the Gambia. I'm not saying it's not, it's not happening, but I've never seen.
Yeah.
So all the arrests that I've witnessed, you know, the police will just come tell you they need you at the police station and you follow them.
Okay. Well, actually, the law of the Gambia does provide for that. Police have an obligation to inform suspects that they have a right to remain silent. Yeah, that's a very important right.
I've never seen that. Or I was even thinking it's not part of our laws.
Of course, it forms a part and parcel of the laws of the
and
Gambia.
You are even so, you know, police don't say that in the Gambia. They don't say it. I mean, people can attest to that. They don't say this.
Okay. Well, if the police are listening, I believe, I mean, there are lawyers within the Gambia police force, so it's a matter of implementing, I mean, this particular provision of the law. But the good thing is that the law does exist. Yeah.
So then, in that case, how effective is the issue of legal representation of accused persons in the Gambia?
It's significant that it's a constitutional right, in fact, that someone who has been charged with an offense has a right to legal representation. I mean, this is a constitutional, this has been provided for by the 90.
Effective in practice?
Well,
especially the underprivileged.
Yes, I mean, in fact, that is where the agency which I work for, this is where NALA's mandate comes to play. NALA, National Agency for Legal Aid, has a mandate to provide legal representation or legal services to indigent members of the indigent population, including the poor. So, I mean, in capital offenses, accused persons have a right to be provided legal representation at the expense of the state. Yeah, but as you rightly pointed out, it is not very inclusive in the sense that there are still people charged with offenses that are not capital in nature, and the NALA Act, I mean, does not include those people. Yes, so that's the, I mean, that's the shortcoming. In an ideal situation, I believe there should be a legal representation, I mean, for any person charged with any offense. However, in the Gambia here, legal representation, I mean, is actually provided for by the state to persons charged with capital offenses. And also, according to the Children's Act, children have a right to be provided legal representation regardless of the matter they are involved.
So I want to clarify this because we were talking about the issue of the courts, people staying, delays in court proceedings and people being in prison for so long, and you know, others are even, the crimes that they have committed, it's not even a major crime, it's not a capital crime, these are minor crimes, but then they will spend so many years at mile 2 before actually going to courts. So what does the law say about this thing?
Okay. Actually, the new criminal code, the new criminal procedure act is very progressive in the sense that I mean, bail is provided for. Bail is possible. I mean, in most of the cases. This is a departure from the former CPC, where bail is available only in non-capital offenses. According to the new Criminal Procedure Act, I mean, it is only in exceptional, I mean, circumstances that bail may not be granted. Yeah.
Okay, so meaning if someone is accused of something, you spent less than 72 hours at the police station, you are required to be given bail before being taken to the court, rather than going to prison.
Yes, the requirement is that anyone who is charged with an offense should actually appear before a court of competent jurisdiction within 72 hours. If that does not happen, it is possible to grant that person maybe police bail.
Okay.
Yes, but that only is effective at the level of the police. Remember, courts have jurisdiction to also grant or deny bail.
Okay.
Bail, as it will generally be said, is not sometimes judges or judicial officers have can use their discretion to actually depending on so many factors to either grant or refuse bail. Yes.
And in that case, what is the difference between police bail and court bail?
Yes, as the names imply, police bail operates at the level of the Gambia Police Force, while court bail is a bail that is granted by a court of competent jurisdiction. Yeah.
But aside from those differences,
or
is
court
there
of law,
anything by law that differentiates it?
Okay, as I said, that is the main difference, that police bail is arranged at the level of the police force, while court can also courts also have discretion to actually grant or refuse bail.
But it's the same bail?
Yes, you basically enjoy the same liberties, yes.
Okay.
So these rights, can they be cancelled, due to emergencies?
Well, one thing, as far as bail is concerned, it might be revoked. Let's say, if you have been charged with an offense and you have been granted bail, and you are caught, you are caught repeating, or you're caught doing a similar act. In other words, if you're caught doing something that may also amount to an offense, that might actually result in the revocation of the bail. Yes, and it is also possible that if you attempt to jump bail and the police are aware, that might also result in the revocation of bail, or even interfere with witnesses. If you interfere or attempt to interfere with witnesses who are due to testify before a court of law, that might also result in the revocation of the bail.
So now let's do this in the local language. Mol laftale drong momi yalon koy nata ya arrest ba sambaka laftale pour kalon mune mo atela nyantuta.
Okay, abaraka bake Mr. Balde anin Julde katanya kontan ko bati kanajang ni mole kacha mol la nyantola soko police ole men muta isobita ko ye luale tinya aka o mol dung ye lua ye nyantol soto la nyantol men yalon ko wal sabatita bankola maral kitabu ba memo constitution oti of the Gambia 1997 anno fanante loi dolbi je me alonko dunia be luwale aning Africa luwal member ko African Charter on Human and People's Rights aning International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights wol be nyantol sabatindilel and nyi luwal me alonko ngefoteng Gambia mu bankol de me alonko adabe nyi luwal konole so wala kendi akumaya tabake kanyi luwal tamande wol kono nim polisol ye muta isobita ko ye luwale tinya ite yete mem muta ila nyantolemu yafo ye ko ye muta mun dalila la kan wo mu ila nyantol anno wo nyanta kala ler saba amanyana tambila ler sabala 3 hours ye kalamutandi dalilo o dalilo men yakendi ye muta abela nyantol kono yeta memuta fanan ye nyanto soto police ya fay ko na diate isi denole a manjare ye kuma fonye angalel ka fame right to remain silent o fana muyla ñantolde e ñanta fala ko ye ñanto soto hanni man diya mun tele bare de ni e fem fo de as keno nga kuma ka nyin nga nin tata kiti bungla nga kuma ka nyin sayin kanje abe la ñantol kono fanan walam ko ye ñanto sotole polisol ye of momo ye muta gato polisol damam bika muta roke do gudla dol fanan bije ol fanan si muta roke no bari ila ñantol mo ya fay ko ye ñanto sotole pour ini lawyer e diamu e muta ini lawyer e diamu in other words ye lawyer diamu ndi ya fay ko ye muta la say ntese mune keno ñil be mu ñantol men yalon ko e ñanta kalale nim police woli ye muta sobita ko yel banko la loi letinya.
So in that case mum mechanism lebe in place ka ensure ko mol mu yalon ko police ol ni be mo arrest like kana lipa kana brutalize andu fana ni ya lipa wala ya brutalize nyata tumo men na ba arrest kan ite yemen arrest ite nyanta munekela puri ifana ye police o sambaluwa.
Okay, well better ata bake new criminal procedure act kuto me alonko anata alota amamme baka nyin sankono la damdo la o seniata baka la nyin ikanyin karo menga because ako police ye nyan simol mutanole barni be mutala e manyana sembo use la me alonko alana tambita isi sembo use e manyana sembo use la me alonko adanna tambita hanfo asi ite ibeta memuda kan isi mantola so nim polisol tata sembo use me alonko ite la jeroto o mulana tambi sembo leti ay fana nyantol sotole ye nyantol sotole isita kiti bunguto ya kalamiro ko je mbe isitano high court yaje ko polisol yemuta yenna nyanto tinya soko ni te baramala o ye dimindiro kela but ni kabo kata kiti bunguto isita dladol fanam bije sitano dlame isi polisol fan la doku dla kono ye dlado soto je ka fa human rights unit isitano wotole ye kalamiro ke je policemen ye muta ye menkela no fanante isit hadin kabi isitano national human rights commission national human rights commission fana ye nyin sambo soto yang manda soto ka kiskisirol ke nyin kusi fa la me alonko police tu mirol ko men boko ko nim police ye sembo me alonko adanna tambita ka momuta nyil be mu la led me alonko isitano jele
sai mbe mem fokan wala en comme ça ni momuta for example ye momuta sunyaro la ye sunyaro ke ye muta ye samba prison to e bije sanje kilim fula fo saba itata kodi ya realize ko komi inyanta ke soron only sanji kilina foyo sanji fulo wala sabo men la prison ibo count la leban wala ibe jola wala ko ka kenyade ne luwa mu ne fokaro.
Okay, normally ni imuta ye samba kasola ye wato kije me alon ko wo yatare ko kito mang fenke kito manke follow kamenke ning kito keta ye wato mella kasoto e karo jo jele bar wo fanan wala ay tande ko comme ça ko men ni comme ça ni tumi ko do la men yalon ko e mangaraw bake wala kana beteata ka bel di wo mo sifala comme ça ni tumi ko ye suñaro ke isi bel asi bete abake ye bel soraje o kol men yalan ko e mangara abake because ni tata je foy meta hanfo ita nyanda menkala ita la kluro momenti ita la detention fang tambitola ode obe kawa ku yala bake
ha ya jele fanan ko mi modol ka fo ha for example ni moyo ila fengo sunya ya samba police ye muta tilikilim fula sabanyango do ka mari jabe banta so wala na saying dol ka justify comme taking the law in their own hands ni moyo sunyaro ke ye bute nga keso jele amamme ye fondinke ol men bute fo after inata faje saying how do we reconcile this?
Okay.
Nyine luwa fo ni moye sunyaro ke it's not capital offense inyanta ki belle and in society fana ba fo okay sign the police will ni mole mo samba luwa nyati ngola ikabulale. How do we reconcile this?
O nyinin karo kumaya tabake but abe kumaya la molbe ya faham ko. In fact there is a principle of law called presumption of innocence until proven guilty by the court. This is a very cardinal principle. So memem foka wala mko luwa la jeroto o luwa nyati lungla ni momuta ya tumiko atele luwa tinya man sabati follow ko atele oke foning kiti bung ko ha atele oke andon kiti bung fananto kala foning man sakunda o police oliye fenko sedol samba kiti bung la kai kela case proof beyond reasonable doubt so you see fato ning mo mutata me yalan ko sobital drong ko atele ay sunya roleke abe bete ala bake ya samba police station auto and the mol safa ham fananko offenses dol bije wol they are available bol kono sunya ro so mo manya na luwa tala ibulo kono yaje ko okay karien na feng sunya oto mba fenkala mba lipalale wol be janta tala police station wol ha
so sa sungol meli alonko jorangol katare bulo nina raise barmano ite woldun nara ite fana be fanne defend kandu
okay kumayada because there is a defense in criminal law called self defense so self defense walam ko luwala jeroto ni be fanne tankande kan kabo mobul me yalon ko comme ça situation o même fode anata sunya rola anin jorang e franci ferol kenole ye fan tankandi anin fanan yela badimul tankandi anin fanan yela nafulo tankande so no sifal kata ning kata kitoti ning asuteta ko ite be fan tankandi kan hanning wo kono ite tata moñing sungning fala me anko jorang babul na sabatita ko ite be fan tankandi kan andi man sembo ye sembo me use is reasonable then wo situation otol luwa bajala ko ite beta sutela molle ko me anko ibe fanne tankande kan andum fanan ata kluro lale kan
iyo nga jibe fanan police en andra mo arrest okay ngata station auto okay nana yela statement o nyum fonya nenta lafta mbende la mbafala no manta diamula
wo mu ila nyantolti banko la luwale yeta sembentu ya kaje ko nim police station nim police oli samba police station re ko ye statement o di ite nyanto sotole ya fay ko nte statement dila andum fanan hani lafta statement dila ye nyanto sotole ite mo tombong me ya lonko wala bela statement o safele manke ko dong ibe police o lebe statement o safele bari ye nyanto soto ya fa police ko okay mbe statement no dila mbe kuma kan dila bari nganying kari ngol tombong wala nyanta na wala nyanta na mbe kuma kan mem fala wala nyanta safela
sai logbugol meli alon ko anyanta safela jele sai nga jele police jamal bi je ka A4 paper le use yela statement o safe ha mo nyanna system mo soto me alon ko anyanta kala jele pour ayeta main file auto
okay, well, maybe those are internal police arrangement, but the most important thing is that nim police only statement or men yasafe, they should make sure that it is a true reflection of what the person has actually told them. They should not add it, or they should not actually, I mean, they should not delete anything or neither add anything. Okay, so going further still, I think I need to emphasize this point. When it comes to rights of accused persons, it's important to note the principle I stated earlier, the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Yes. So this is a very cardinal principle which is also contained in the 1997 Constitution. In practice, what it means is that an accused person is not under an obligation to prove his or her innocence. It is the responsibility of the prosecution, which might the state, to prove the guilt of an accused person. And the standard of proof in all criminal cases is proof beyond reasonable doubt. So it means the prosecution, in order to secure a conviction for a crime, they must prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. And an accused person has no obligation to prove his or her innocence.
Saying, barista lafta kudola nyininkala. For instance, nim moye tonye wala yela fengosunya, saya samba police tata ya report pour police oleta o arrest. Jumale nyanta kodo jola police ole pureta o mo arrest for because nka jela in instances where waka happen.
Well, no kake o manya nakala police ola dog walamu ka tenkung sabatin luwa sabatin di bangko kang. So amanke mola dokwoti yeta report oke ye kodo fanandi police ola puru yeta ila dokwoke walam police ola dokwote. So mansakunda la dokwolam mansakunda la dunolam ka make sure that police ol sura ta jorang fem ma ila dokwoto membe la dokwo ila dokwoto ye jorang nyil ya di la bol kono motol anim fanang atodum anim fanang fuelo me alonko ibetala mol arrest la.
Iyo mo fula ye nyosa bosoto. Okay, akamodo nte nata ngete don to kudola. Bari nte me jono. Ye muta yen samba police. So ni nte fura police oto. Police ol jantante dundi la selo kono le bang.
Okay, wo munyin karo kumaya rabake because ni nata ajube nyanta faham lako crimes and contract wal manke cleande. So crime wala mu ko luala soso ye luwa tinya example ye mo la feng sunya o ye mo lipa o ye mo so murola o ye mo fa o sifal police ol ye sembo soto ka wo sifal ka wo case sifal le ka ko case sifal le noma bari ikaita ka situation o mem fote wala contractual situation me alan contenite kachata amanka police nyala manta police station to ganno kachaka so sa nintenga julo tete bulum manna jono wo Kenya to ita nyanta tara lamen walam kiti bungudi bal police ha court ita nyanta tara court le ka court damale sembo soto ka wotonya sabatende bar police ol man nyanto soto molla damman kambeon mo kambeon men keda mol tematen comme ça man julo jono ngata ite ta nsamba police station police ol yamutaje o manka police ol la do koti
so ni moye donto kodola saying ita mari samala police iba mari samala court
inyanta sambala court la loi yola fo because police ol manke fenti me alon ko police ol ye sembo sodo ka mamma wo karola contractual situation o kake mo fula tema so ning do yalon ko amang ala atodung al agrita mena mo keno ita the best place ita nyanda tala dlame wala miyata kide
yalo mo jamal man ko understand ya mira le ko janni mo bita court inyanta kata police le folo ni bota je police ol sa fo ko ke alta court you know intol mo jamal ye wala understand
o manke luwate police ol fana nyanta faham sa fo doli afaham le already that itella do ko manke ni ñing sifalte me yalon ko julu kol ten no men dunta mol kono ten o manke tella do ko mo mende wala ka luwal sabate ni ka mol muta men yalon ko wolye crime le ke kukurun le ke banko kan
so barka ba ke Mr. Barrow kacani nga kumayata bake mol karantale no ngalo na jiber lal fanan ye ku jamal le karang nyin segment oto a betiata pour mol sen na nyanto long a betiata fanan pour mol sen ke ku luwaye min fo mol kanati nya bari karandirole me yalon ko akumayata bake woto a barka bake elana akumayata bake.
Thank you so much, and well, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm really so happy to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Julde,
This is all we have until we come your way tomorrow.
we'll be back here tomorrow again on another edition of QTV This Morning. Until then, bye-bye.